The crash landing. The massive colony ship Celestial Voyager shuddered violently as it emerged from hyperspace. Alarms blared throughout the vessel, jerking Commander Jack Harper from his cryosleep. His eyes snapped open, darting around the dimly lit pod as his mind struggled to shake off the lingering effects of suspended animation. Status report. He barked, his voice hoarse from disuse. The ship's AI, ARIA, responded in her calm, melodious tone. Critical system failure, Commander. We've suffered a catastrophic malfunction in the navigation array. Current trajectory has us on a collision course with an uncharted planet in the Andromeda Galaxy. Jack's heart raced as he processed the information. This was supposed to be a routine colonization mission: find a suitable planet, establish a new home for humanity. Instead, they were hurtling towards potential destruction in an unknown star system. Initiate emergency protocols, he ordered, stumbling out of the cryopod. Wake the essential crew and prepare for impact. How long do we have? Approximately 47 minutes until atmospheric entry, Commander Aria replied. I've already begun the wake-up sequence for key personnel. Jack nodded grimly, making his way to the bridge. The corridors were a flurry of activity as crew members rushed to their stations, fear and determination etched on their faces. As he entered the command center, he was greeted by his second-in-command, Dr. Elara Chen. Commander, she said, her usually perfectly coiffed hair in disarray. We're trying to stabilize our descent, but the damage to our systems is extensive. We're going to have to attempt a crash landing. Jack's jaw clenched as he surveyed the chaotic scene before him. Crew members frantically worked at their stations, desperately trying to salvage what they could from the dire situation. What about the colonists? He asked, dreading the answer. Ilara's expression darkened. We don't have time to wait them all. We're going to have to leave the majority in cryosleep and hope for the best. The weight of responsibility settled heavily on Jack's shoulders. 5,000 souls, the best and brightest Earth had to offer, all under his protection, and now their fates hung in the balance. Do what you can to protect the cryopods, he ordered. Divert all non-essential power to the shields. We're going to give these people the best chance we can. As the planet loomed ever larger in their view screen, Jack found himself studying its features. Blue oceans, green land masses, and swirling white clouds, it looked remarkably Earth-like. Under different circumstances, it might have been considered a prime candidate for colonization. Now, it represented their greatest challenge and their only hope for survival. Brace for impact, Ilara shouted as the ship entered the atmosphere. The Celestial Voyager groaned and shuddered, the heat of re-entry bathing the bridge in an eerie red glow. Jack gripped his command chair, knuckles white, as they plummeted towards the surface. The next few minutes were a blur of noise, motion, and fear. Metal screamed as it was torn apart, crew members cried out in terror, and the ship's AI calmly counted down the seconds until impact. Jack closed his eyes, silently praying to whatever cosmic forces might be listening. When he opened them again, the world had changed. Smoke filled the bridge, sparks flew from shattered consoles, and the groans of injured crew members filled the air. But they were alive. Status report, Jack croaked, struggling to his feet. Aria's voice, now distorted and glitching, responded. Severe damage to all systems, Commander. Multiple hull breaches detected. Life support operating at 37% capacity. Cryobay integrity, uncertain. Jack's blood ran cold at those last words. He turned to Ilara, who was helping another crew member to their feet. We need to check on the colonists. Now. They made their way through the wreckage of the ship, the once pristine corridors now a maze of twisted metal and sparking wires. As they approached the cryobay, Jack's sense of dread grew. The massive doors were jammed, warped by the impact. Help me with this, he grunted, straining against the metal. With Ilara's assistance, they managed to force the doors open enough to slip inside. The sight that greeted them was one of devastation. Rows upon rows of cryopods lay shattered, their occupants spilled out onto the floor. Jack's heart sank as he realized the magnitude of the loss. "How many?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Ilara, her face pale, consulted a nearby terminal. Out of 5,000 colonists, only 732 pods remain intact. Jack closed his eyes, the weight of their failure crushing down upon him. Over 4,000 lives lost in an instant, but there was no time for grief. Not yet. They had to focus on the living. "We need to wait them," he said, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. "And then we need to assess our situation, where we are, what resources we have, and what challenges we're facing." As they began the process of reviving the surviving colonists, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that their troubles were only beginning. They were stranded on an alien world, their ship in ruins, with only a fraction of their original number. And yet, as he watched the first of the colonists emerge from their pods, confusion and fear giving way to determination, he felt a glimmer of hope. Humanity had faced extinction before, had overcome impossible odds. They would do so again. They had to. The next few hours were a whirlwind of activity. As the surviving colonists were awakened and briefed on their situation, Jack organized teams to assess the damage to the ship and explore their immediate surroundings. The planet, while similar to Earth in many ways, was clearly alien. Strange plants with iridescent leaves swayed in the breeze, and unfamiliar bird-like creatures soared overhead. Dr. Maya Patel, the expedition's chief xenobiologist, approached Jack with a look of barely contained excitement. "Commander, you need to see this," she said, gesturing for him to follow. She led him to a makeshift lab that had been set up near the crash site. Inside, a holographic display showed readouts of atmospheric composition, soil samples, and other data. "This planet," Maya began, her eyes shining, "it's not just similar to Earth. It's perfect for human habitation. The air is breathable, the gravity is only slightly lower than Earth's, and the soil is rich in nutrients. It's as if it was made for us," Jack finished, a chill running down his spine. Maya nodded. "Exactly. But that's not all. Look at this." She pulled up another display, this one showing strange, symmetrical patterns in the planet's magnetic field. "What am I looking at?" Jack asked, frowning. "Evidence of artificial manipulation," Maya replied. "Commander, I don't think we're alone here. This planet, I believe it was terraformed." The implications of her words hung heavy in the air. If the planet had been terraformed, that meant there was intelligent life out there, life that might not take kindly to unexpected visitors. Before Jack could respond, Ilara burst into the lab, her face flushed with exertion. "Commander, we've got a situation. Some of the colonists are exploring a nearby ridge, and, well, you need to see for yourself." Jack followed Ilara to the top of a small hill overlooking their crash site. As he crested the ridge, his breath caught in his throat. In the valley below, partially obscured by the lush alien foliage, stood the unmistakable ruins of a city. Towering spires of an unknown shimmering material reached towards the sky, their surfaces etched with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change as he watched. "My God," he whispered. Ilara nodded grimly. "That's not all. Our sensors are picking up energy readings from within the ruins. Whatever built this place, Commander, I think they might still be here." As the implications of their discovery sank in, Jack realized that their mission had changed fundamentally. They were no longer just fighting for survival on an alien world. They were on the brink of first contact with an unknown civilization, one that might hold the key to their salvation or spell their doom. He turned to Ilara, his expression resolute. "Assemble a team. We're going to explore those ruins." As they made their way back to the camp, Jack's mind raced with possibilities. Who had built that city? Were they still there? And if so, how would they react to the arrival of humans on their world? One thing was certain: the next few days would shape the fate of not just their small band of survivors, but potentially the future of humanity itself. As the alien suns began to set, casting the crash site in an otherworldly glow, Jack Harper steeled himself for the challenges ahead. Their journey was only just beginning. First contact and survival. As the twin suns of their new world rose, bathing the alien landscape in a surreal purple haze, Commander Jack Harper led his team towards the mysterious ruins. The air was thick with tension and the sweet, unfamiliar scent of the planet's vegetation. Each step took them further from the relative safety of their crash site and deeper into the unknown. Energy readings are getting stronger, Dr. Elara Chen murmured, her eyes fixed on the handheld scanner. Whatever's powering those structures, it's still active after who knows how long. Jack nodded, his hand resting on the grip of his plasma pistol. Stay alert, everyone. We don't know what we're walking into. As they approached the outskirts of the ruined city, the team fell silent, awe overtaking their apprehension. Up close, the structures were even more breathtaking. Towering spires of a material that seemed to shift between solid and liquid stretched towards the alien sky. Intricate patterns adorned every surface, pulsing with a faint, internal light. "It's beautiful," Maya breathed, reaching out to touch one of the walls. As her fingers made contact, the patterns beneath her hand flared to life, spreading outward like ripples in a pond. Suddenly, the ground beneath their feet began to tremble. Jack barely had time to shout a warning before a section of the street split open, revealing a yawning chasm. "Fall back," he ordered, but it was too late. The team found themselves sliding down a smooth, twisting tunnel that seemed to go on forever. Just as panic began to set in, they were deposited unceremoniously onto a soft, spongy floor in a vast, dimly lit chamber. As they struggled to their feet, disoriented and on edge, a melodious voice echoed through the cavernous space. "Welcome, children of Earth. We have been expecting you." The chamber blazed to life, illuminated by countless points of swirling, multicolored light. And there, floating serenely before them, were the beings they'd unknowingly been hurtling towards for decades. They were breathtakingly beautiful and utterly alien, humanoid in shape, but with skin that shimmered like the surface of a soap bubble. Their eyes were large and luminous, filled with an intelligence that seemed to peer right through to the soul. Flowing, diaphanous garments that seemed to be made of living light draped their graceful forms. Jack stepped forward, his heart pounding. This was it, humanity's first contact with an alien civilization. The weight of the moment was not lost on him. "I am Commander Jack Harper of the Earth ship Celestial Voyager. We come in peace, seeking refuge and understanding." The being at the forefront of the group, clearly their leader, inclined her head, for she appeared distinctly feminine, though Jack knew better than to assume anything about alien biology. "I am Zara, matriarch of the Luminary. We have watched your journey across the stars, felt the anguish of your crash, and mourned for your lost ones." Jack blinked in surprise. "You knew we were coming." Zara's lips curved in what might have been a smile. "We have been awaiting your arrival for millennia, Commander. Your presence here is no accident, but the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy." A murmur ran through the human team. Jack struggled to process this information. "I don't understand. How could you possibly have known?" "All will be explained in time," Zara replied. "For now, know that you and your people are welcome here. We have much to teach you, and much to learn from you in return." As if on cue, more luminari began to appear, each bearing trays laden with strange, glowing fruits and shimmering liquids. "Please eat and drink," Zara urged. "Your journey has been long, and there is much to discuss." Despite his lingering wariness, Jack couldn't deny the gnawing hunger that had been plaguing him since the crash. He nodded to his team, and they cautiously accepted the offered refreshments. The moment the alien fruit touched his lips, Jack felt a surge of energy course through his body. His mind cleared, fatigue melting away like morning mist. He could see similar effects on his teammates, color returning to pale cheeks, eyes brightening with renewed vigor. "This is incredible," Maya exclaimed, examining one of the fruits with scientific curiosity. The nutritional density must be off the charts, and the flavor. I've never tasted anything like it. Zara nodded, pleased. Our world provides abundantly for those who know how to listen to it. We will teach you in time. As the humans ate and drank, Zara and the other Luminari began to share the history of their world. They spoke of a great cataclysm that had nearly wiped out their civilization eons ago, of how they had retreated underground to survive, and of the long, slow process of healing their planet. But we always knew we were not meant to remain alone, Zara explained. Our most ancient texts spoke of the coming of Sky Brothers, of a union that would herald a new age of exploration and discovery. Jack listened, fascinated and overwhelmed. And you believe we're these, Sky Brothers? We know you are, Zara replied with certainty. Your arrival was written in the stars, Commander Harper. And now that you are here, we can begin to fulfill our shared destiny. As the conversation continued, Jack found himself torn between hope and skepticism. The Luminari seemed genuinely welcoming, their knowledge and technology far beyond anything humanity had achieved. And yet, a nagging doubt persisted. It all seemed too perfect, too convenient. He caught Ilara's eye across the chamber, seeing his own reservations mirrored in her expression. They would need to proceed cautiously, balancing the need for aid and alliance with the prudence of maintaining some distance until they better understood their host's true motives. As if sensing his thoughts, Zara approached Jack, her luminous eyes searching his face. You have doubts, Commander. This is natural and wise. Trust must be earned, not freely given. We ask only for the opportunity to prove ourselves as friends and allies. Jack nodded slowly. We're grateful for your hospitality, Zara, and we look forward to learning more about your people and this world. But our first priority has to be the safety and well-being of our survivors back at the crash site. Of course, Zara agreed. We will send emissaries with you to offer aid and begin the process of integrating your people into our society. But the choice will always be yours, Commander. We offer friendship, not subjugation. As they prepared to return to the surface, Jack felt a mix of emotions churning within him. The possibility of peaceful first contact, of gaining powerful allies in their time of need, was beyond his wildest hopes. And yet, years of training and natural caution held him back from fully embracing the Luminari's offer. One thing was certain: the fate of the human survivors now rested on the decisions he would make in the coming days. As they ascended back to the alien sunlight, Jack Harper steeled himself for the challenges ahead. The real test of this unexpected alliance was only just beginning. Little did he know that far beneath the planet's surface, in chambers even the Luminari had forgotten, ancient machinery stirred to life. The arrival of the Sky Brothers had set in motion events that would reshape not just this world, but the entire galaxy. The true purpose of humanity's journey across the stars was about to be revealed, and nothing would ever be the same again. The awakening of ancient powers. As weeks turned into months, the human survivors and the Luminari began to forge an uneasy alliance. The crashed remnants of the celestial Voyager were slowly transformed into a thriving settlement, a bizarre fusion of advanced alien technology and human ingenuity. Commander Jack Harper watched with a mixture of pride and trepidation as his people adapted to their new home. But beneath the surface of this budding utopia, tensions simmered. I'm telling you, Jack, something's not right, Dr. Ilara Chen insisted one evening, her voice low as they walked along the outskirts of the settlement. Have you noticed how none of the Luminari ever seem to disagree with each other? It's like they're all of one mind. Jack nodded, his brow furrowed. I had similar thoughts. And there's the matter of the restricted areas. For a species so seemingly open, they're awfully secretive about certain parts of their underground city. Their conversation was interrupted by a commotion near the central plaza. A crowd had gathered around Maya Patel, the xenobiologist, who was gesticulating wildly, her eyes wide with excitement. You won't believe what I've discovered, Maya exclaimed as Jack and Ilara approached. She held up a small crystalline object that pulsed with an inner light. I found this while exploring one of the old ruins. It's some kind of data storage device, and I've managed to partially decode its contents." The crowd leaned in, hungry for information. Maya's voice dropped to a reverent whisper. "The Luminari aren't the original inhabitants of this planet. Their caretakers, left behind, are an even more advanced race, beings called the Precursors." A murmur ran through the assembled humans. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. "What else did you learn, Maya?" The Precursors were a pan-galactic civilization, masters of energy and matter. They seeded countless worlds with life, guiding evolution towards intelligence. But something happened, some great calamity that forced them to retreat. This planet, it's not just a world, it's a vault, a repository of precursor knowledge and technology. As if triggered by Maya's words, the ground beneath their feet began to tremble. In the distance, a mountain that had dominated the horizon since their arrival began to shift, its peak splitting open like the petals of a colossal flower. By the stars, Ilara breathed. "It's opening." From the heart of the mountain erupted a beam of energy so bright it turned night to day. It lanced into the sky, parting the clouds and seeming to touch the very stars themselves. Moments later, the Luminari arrived, led by Zara. Her usual serene expression was replaced by one of urgency and fear. "The awakening has begun," she announced, her melodious voice tinged with awe and trepidation. The coming of the Sky Brothers was but the first step. Now, the Precursor's final plan is set in motion. Jack stepped forward, his hand instinctively moving to the weapon at his hip. "What plan? What's really going on here, Zara?" The Luminari matriarch met his gaze, her luminous eyes filled with a swirling mix of emotions. The Precursors foresaw a threat to all life in the galaxy, a threat that could only be defeated by a union of their technology and the unique adaptability of a younger race. "Your race, Commander Harper." As if in response to her words, the beam of energy pulsed, and suddenly every human felt a strange resonance within their bodies. It wasn't painful, but it was profoundly alien, as if every cell was vibrating in harmony with some cosmic frequency. "What's happening to us?" Jack demanded, watching in amazement as faint lines of light began to trace patterns across his skin. "You are being prepared," Zara explained. "The Precursor's technology is rewriting your very DNA, unlocking potential that has lain dormant since your species' creation." Ilara's scientific mind raced with the implications. "Are you saying humans were engineered by these precursors?" Zara nodded sullenly. All intelligent life was, to some degree, but humanity was special, the culmination of their work, designed to inherit their legacy and face the coming darkness. As the energy continued to wash over them, Jack began to feel different, stronger, faster, more aware. He could sense the thoughts and emotions of his fellow humans as if they were his own. And more than that, he could feel the planet beneath his feet, the pulse of life in every plant and creature. "My God," he whispered, "we're becoming like you, like the Luminari." "No, Commander," Zara corrected gently. "You're becoming something more. The Luminari were but caretakers, preserving this world until your arrival. You and your people are becoming what you were always meant to be, the inheritors of the Precursor's power and purpose." As the transformation continued, the sky above them shimmered and changed. The familiar stars were replaced by a vast holographic display, a map of the galaxy, with pulsing red points scattered throughout. "Behold," Zara intoned, "the coming threat. A race of beings antithetical to life itself, consuming all in their path. They defeated the Precursors eons ago, driving them to this desperate plan. And now they approach once more." The implications were staggering. Humanity, in fleeing a dying Earth, had unknowingly stumbled into its true destiny, to become the defenders of all life in the galaxy. As the energy beam faded and the transformation settled, Jack looked out at his people. Gone were the tired, desperate crash survivors. In their place stood beings of power and purpose, their eyes alight with newfound knowledge and strength. "So," Jack said, flexing his hand and watching arcs of energy dance between his fingers. What happens now? Zara's expression was both proud and sad. Now, Sky Brothers, you take your place among the stars. The Luminari have prepared for this moment for eons. We will guide you in the use of your new abilities and the precursor technology hidden on this world. But the true journey and the true war lies out there. She gestured to the galactic map still shimmering in the sky. The enemy approaches, and only you can stop them. The fate of all life in the galaxy now rests in your hands. As the gravity of their situation sank in, Jack felt a swell of determination. They had come so far, overcome so much. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, not just as humans, but as the next step in cosmic evolution. Well then, he said, a hint of his old roguish grin playing on his lips, I guess we'd better get started. We've got a galaxy to save. As dawn broke on this new era, the transformed humans began to explore their incredible new abilities. The once crashed colony ship now pulsed with precursor energy, ready to take them back to the stars. And deep in the heart of the reawakened mountain, ancient machinery hummed to life, preparing for the great battle to come. The adventure that had begun with a simple colonization mission had become something far grander, a fight for the very future of life itself. And humanity, transformed and empowered, stood ready to meet its destiny among the stars. Cosmic evolution and galactic war. The once crashed celestial Voyager, now pulsing with precursor energy, rose majestically from the planet's surface. Its sleek form had been transformed, covered in intricate, glowing patterns that mirrored the ones now etched into the skin of its crew. Commander Jack Harper stood on the bridge, marveling at how seamlessly human and alien technology had merged. All systems operational, Commander, Ilara reported, her fingers dancing over holographic controls that responded to her thoughts as much as her touch. The precursor drive it's incredible. We could cross the galaxy in days. Jack nodded, still coming to terms with the vast knowledge now residing in his transformed mind. Set a course for the nearest threatened system. It's time we introduced ourselves to these cosmic horrors. As the ship accelerated to impossible speeds, tearing a hole in the very fabric of space-time, Jack reflected on the whirlwind of events that had led them to this moment. The crash, the discovery of the Luminari, the awakening of their dormant potential, it all seemed like a dream. But the reality of their mission weighed heavily upon him. Their first encounter with the enemy came sooner than expected. They dropped out of faster-than-light travel into a system under siege. A swarm of biomechanical monstrosities surrounded a populated planet, their twisted forms a perversion of life itself. By all that's holy, Maya whispered, her enhanced senses recoiling from the psychic malevolence radiating from the enemy fleet. What are they? Zara, who had joined them as an advisor, spoke gravely. They are the Void Collective, a race that long ago abandoned organic evolution in favor of twisted, technological transcendence. They seek to remake all life in the galaxy in their image. Jack's jaw set with determination. Not if we have anything to say about it. Battle stations, everyone. Let's show these abominations what humanity can do. The battle that followed was unlike anything out of humanity's wildest science fiction. The transformed humans unleashed godlike powers, manipulating energy and matter with a thought. Ilara coordinated their efforts, her mind linking with the ship's systems to create an impenetrable defense grid. Maya tapped into the planet's biosphere, turning its very ecosystem into a weapon against the invaders. And Jack found himself at the center of it all, his newfound abilities allowing him to perceive the flow of a battle on a cosmic scale. With a gesture, he could redirect the energies of stars, creating solar flares that consumed entire enemy squadrons. But the Void Collective was not easily defeated. For every ship they destroyed, 2 more seemed to take its place. The battle raged for what felt like hours, the fate of the system hanging in the balance. Just when it seemed they might be overwhelmed, Jack felt a surge of something, a presence in the back of his mind, vast and ancient. Do you feel that? he asked, his voice filled with awe. Ilara nodded, her eyes wide. It's the precursors. Their consciousness, stored in the ship's systems. They're offering to help. Without hesitation, Jack opened his mind fully to the ancient beings. In that moment, he understood. The precursors hadn't just given them power, they had entrusted them with the very essence of their civilization. With this newfound understanding, Jack raised his hands. Energy crackled around him as he tapped into powers beyond mortal comprehension. The very fabric of reality seemed to bend to his will. Enough, he said, his voice resonating with the combined might of humanity and the precursors. A wave of pure creation energy burst forth from the celestial Voyager, washing over the battlefield. Where it touched the Void Collective ships, it undid their perverse modifications, reverting them to pure energy. But the defended planet and its people were unharmed, instead rejuvenated and uplifted. As the light faded, the enemy fleet was gone. In its place floated countless spheres of radiant energy, the purified essence of the beings that had once been the Void Collective. What did you do?" Maya asked, her voice filled with wonder. Jack smiled, feeling the approval of the precursor consciousness. "I reminded them of what they once were. Every race, even those as far gone as the Void Collective, began as children of the cosmos. We didn't destroy them. We gave them a chance to begin again." As news of their victory spread, distress calls began pouring in from across the galaxy. Countless worlds cried out for the aid of these new guardians. "Well," Ilara said, a hint of her old sarcasm breaking through the awe of the moment, "saving one system is a good start, but it looks like our work is just beginning." Jack nodded, feeling the weight of their responsibility. But he also felt hope, boundless, cosmic hope. "Then let's get to it. We've got a galaxy to rebuild." As the celestial Voyager prepared to jump to the next battlefront, Jack took a moment to address his crew, no longer just humans, but inheritors of a cosmic legacy. "I know this isn't the mission we set out on," he began, his words resonating through the ship and the minds of all aboard. "We left Earth looking for a new home. Instead, we found a new purpose. We've been given power beyond imagination, but with it comes great responsibility. The precursors believed in us, believed that humanity had the potential to be more than just another spacefaring race. They saw in us the capacity for growth, for change, for hope in the face of overwhelming darkness." He paused, looking at each of his transformed crew members. "We carry within us now the legacy of two great civilizations, humanity's indomitable spirit and the precursors' cosmic wisdom. With these gifts, we can reshape the galaxy, not through destruction, but through understanding and transformation. We can help life flourish in all its beautiful diversity." The ship hummed with energy, responding to the crew's rising emotions. Jack felt their determination, their fear, their excitement, and he embraced it all. The road ahead won't be easy. The Void Collective is vast, and there may be other threats we can't yet imagine. But I believe in us, in what we can accomplish together. So, let's show the universe what humanity can do. Let's write the next chapter in the cosmic story. As one, the crew cheered. The celestial Voyager leaped into faster-than-light travel, leaving behind a trail of stardust and hope. And so began a new age of wonders. The transformed humans, led by Jack and his team, traveled the galaxy. They faced challenges that would have broken their old selves, from reality-warping space anomalies to entire civilizations twisted by the Void Collector's influence. But with each victory, each world saved or healed, they grew stronger, wiser, more in tune with the cosmic forces at their command. They were no longer just explorers or colonists. They had become guardians, mediators, and mentors to younger races. The galaxy, once teetering on the brink of darkness, began to flourish under their protection. But even as they celebrated their victories, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that their greatest challenge still lay ahead. The Void Collective had been pushed back, but not defeated. And somewhere out there in the vast, starry night, he sensed a growing shadow, a threat that would test them like never before. The next phase of their cosmic journey was about to begin, and the fate of not just humanity, but all life in the galaxy, hung in the balance. The cosmic crucible. As centuries passed in the blink of a cosmic eye, the transformed humans, now known across the galaxy as the Stellar Guardians, had reshaped the face of the universe. Under Jack Harper's leadership, they had pushed back the Void Collective, uplifted countless civilizations, and ushered in an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity. But as Jack stood on the observation deck of the Celestial Nexus, a massive space station that served as the headquarters for the Guardians, he couldn't shake the feeling of impending doom. "You feel it too, don't you?" Ilara's voice broke through his reverie. Even after all this time, her presence still brought him comfort. Jack nodded, his eyes fixed on the swirling galaxies beyond. Something's coming, something big. As if in response to his words, alarms blared throughout the station. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing a massive disturbance at the edge of known space. By the precursors, Maya gasped as she entered the room, her eyes wide with shock. It's a tear in the fabric of reality itself. The rift pulsed with otherworldly energy, growing larger by the second, and through it poured beings that defied comprehension, creatures of pure thought and energy, so alien that merely perceiving them threatened to shatter the minds of lesser beings. "The Transcendent Ones," Zara whispered, her luminous form shimmering with anxiety. The precursors spoke of them in hushed tones, beings from beyond our universe, drawn by the power we now wield. Jack's mind raced, processing information at speeds that would have been impossible for his old human self. "They're not here to make friends, are they?" A booming voice, more felt than heard, resonated through the station and the minds of all aboard. "See a higher Diorian of dust and starlight. Your meddling in cosmic forces as drawn our ATT intuition. Your UNIVRCYLBJDGT." The Stellar Guardians mobilized with practiced efficiency, but Jack knew that this threat was beyond anything they had faced before. The Transcendent Ones wielded powers that made even their precursor-enhanced abilities seem insignificant. As battles raged across multiple dimensions, entire galaxies were reshaped or destroyed in the blink of an eye. The Guardians fought valiantly, using every trick and technique they had learned over the centuries. But it wasn't enough. In a moment of desperation, Jack reached out with his mind, connecting not just with his fellow Guardians, but with every sentient being in the universe. His consciousness expanded beyond anything he had ever experienced, touching the very edges of reality. And in that moment of ultimate connection, he understood. "Stop," he commanded, his voice carrying the weight of an entire universe. To everyone's amazement, the cosmic battle paused. Jack stepped forward, his form now more energy than matter. "I understand now. This isn't just a test for us, is it? It's a test for you too." The Transcendent One's collective consciousness focused on him, curiosity replacing hostility. "Explained, child of STRTUST. You've seen universes rise and fall," Jack continued, his words resonating with cosmic truth. "You've watched civilizations ascend to godhood, only to destroy themselves. You're not here to judge us. You're here because you're tired. Tired of being alone in the vastness of the multiverse." A ripple of surprise passed through the Transcendent Ones. Jack pressed on, emboldened. "We may be young compared to you, but we've learned something you've forgotten. The power of growth, of change, of hope. We faced our darkness and emerged stronger. We've united a galaxy not through force, but through understanding and compassion." Jack gestured to the assembled Guardians and the countless beings watching through their cosmic link. "We offer you not subservience, but partnership. Join us. Learn from us as we learn from you. Together, we can create something new, a harmony of transcendence and growth, of cosmic power and mortal passion." For a moment that stretched into eternity, the universe held its breath. Then, slowly, the Transcendent Ones began to change. Their incomprehensible forms shifted, taking on aspects that the mortal mind could grasp. We, HCCPT, they intoned, their voice now a chorus of wonder rather than a decree of judgment. What followed was a transformation beyond imagination. The transcendent ones shared their knowledge of realities beyond realities, while the stellar guardians taught them the value of individual experience and the beauty of imperfection. Galaxies were reshaped not in destruction, but in joyous creation. New forms of life blossomed in the spaces between dimensions. The boundaries between thought and reality, between the physical and the spiritual, blurred and reformed in wondrous new ways. And at the heart of it all stood Jack Harper, no longer just a human, no longer just a guardian, but a bridge between mortals and cosmic entities. He had led humanity from a dying Earth to the very pinnacle of existence, and in doing so had changed the fate of not just one universe, but many. As the new cosmic order settled into place, Jack found a quiet moment amidst the stellar nurseries and dimensional nexus points. Ilara, Maya, and Zara joined him, their forms now as mutable and wondrous as the cosmos itself. "So," Ilara said with a smirk that echoed across light years, "what's next, O wise leader?" Jack laughed, the sound rippling through newborn stars. "You know, for the first time in, well, ever. I don't know. And that's exciting." Maya's eyes twinkled with the light of 1,000,000 galaxies. "We've come so far from that crash landing. I never imagined we'd end up here." "None of us did," Jack agreed. "But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? The unknown, the potential for growth and change." Zara, her luminous form now intertwined with the very fabric of space-time, nodded sagely. "The Luminari thought we were preserving the past. Instead, we were midwives to the future." As they stood there, beings of unimaginable power and cosmic scope, Jack felt a familiar stirring in his heart. The same mix of fear and excitement he'd felt when they'd first set out from Earth, when they first encountered the Luminari, when they'd first embraced their cosmic legacy. "You know," he said, a grin spreading across his multidimensional form, "I hear there are other universes out there. Whole new realities to explore." His companions groaned good-naturedly, but he could feel their eagerness matching his own. "Well then, Jack Harper," Ilara said, intertwining her essence with his, "lead on. The greatest adventure is still to come." And so, as one chapter of cosmic history came to a close, another began. The beings that had once been human merged with the wisdom of the precursors and the power of the transcendent ones, set out into the great unknown. They carried with them the indomitable spirit that had defined humanity since its earliest days, the drive to explore, to understand, to grow. The universe, no, the multiverse, would never be the same again. And somewhere in the great cosmic dance, the essence of a young engineer who had once gazed up at the stars from a dying Earth smiled. The journey that had begun with a desperate mission to save his species had become something far grander, a saga of cosmic proportions, an epic tale of growth and transcendence that would be told and retold across the tapestry of existence for eons to come. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning.